Hello everyone, it's me again, Aki from Bringforth. This will be part 17, set 17, part 3. And I'd like to discuss a tentative treaty with aliens. And I'd like to bring into note that because we have such a large population, we have people who feel different ways about things like death. So even aliens who wish to eat us will find food that is actually voluntary. People are not that opposed to the idea of cannibalism, not to mention their bodies being, after they die, separated into smaller pieces and fed to the animals. This is a traditional burial method of Buddhists in Tibet and Nepal. They chop up a human body into bits and throw it from a cliff so that animals can feed on it. So even the most violent end that humanity can imagine for itself as an individual, or human can imagine for itself as an individual, is something that we will find some volunteers for. So these alien groups should come into the light and actually discuss with us what they need. Even eating humans is not a concept that is absolutely impossible as long as it's done in the light or in the public view. If it's done covertly, it will end badly for both sides. So, in my view, we should attempt to find a common ground as individuals with these groups and try to find something we can do so that both groups can exist in the same planet, so that no involuntary human gets abducted, but abductions are reserved for people who actually want to be abducted, who want to have the experience of being outside of their comfortable norm. For me, not all of my abduction experiences have been bad. Some of them have been very good. So I'm still open to abduction experiences, but I would prefer them to be understandable and in the daylight instead of in the nighttime. Or I don't mean during the day, I mean during the understanding period. But it is hard to conceptualize what such a period would be like. But I am sure that there are people on this planet who are even more open to it than I am. So we as humanity are perhaps ready for these types of experiences. Very good timing. And I don't really know if being, after you die, eaten by the Asari is considered a bad ending for a human, or being eaten by a lion is considered a bad ending for a human. But I do know that being killed and eaten by a lion while you are not voluntarily for it is a bad experience for a human. So we as a civilization have evolved to a point where we can actually understand that we are food for other species, and that other species will eat us because we eat other species, that life goes in a cycle. So from that point of view, I believe that some kind of public acknowledgement treaty is possible. I'm not powerful enough personally to do such a thing, but I do have the service of 900 voters and my own political simulator running where I keep my 900 voters. It is not a large group, but it is a group large enough. It is a group large enough to petition for some things, such as a public acknowledgement of these oral histories. So if we as humanity are ready for a treaty with aliens, I do believe it's possible. And it would only require us to publicly acknowledge that not all humans wish to be humans, that not all humans that we see as humans self-identify as humans, and they need alien rights, they need They need the rights of people who will never feel at home in any country. They will not be humans no matter how hard we try. And from that, slowly go towards accepting that some people will actually, as soon as we get the technology, modify themselves to be aliens, and those people will become the alien species. Either way, either they will become them when we move from Earth and colonize other planets by banning humans from their planets, or they will try to reach those aliens by modifying themselves, and when they actually encounter those aliens, try to immigrate into their society. Those are basically the two options available for us. So from my point of view, I'm not opposed to aliens eating my voters if my voters are voluntary. I'm not opposed to it. And I'm not opposed to even humans helping Grace become able to breed naturally again. It's not a concept that I'm against, even though they are, by all accounts, a violent species. Because we are a violent species. We need mirrors to understand the universe around us, or we will be blind. And when somebody actually does come for us that is violent enough to go through our systems, we will suffer in such a way that we can't truly understand without having the preliminary basis of understanding them in the proper, through our interaction with cultures that seem violent. So isolation is not an option. I don't really know what else to say. This has been a rather open invite, but I hope it produces results. There is a background guy there who is clearly following me. Aliens, right?